Hey guys, Gamer Worley here. Today. I'm going to be reading a book that I've been wanting to do. I posted on my channel a while ago, and now I am going to be doing it. All credit goes towards Andrew Givlier. Not good at pronouncing his last name, but he is the one that wrote all the audiobooks about this and the Soulbound collection and everything. This is book 5 called Sleep Debt, and I'm gonna be reading it to you. Try to do maybe like a chapter or two every time, but hopefully you guys like it. And also, if you want to hear more of this, please like and subscribe so you can be updated on when I do this. All right, chapter 1. I've been in the bad business for a while now. I know that's not a specific industry, but it's the only way I could think of to describe my life. Ever since a demon stole my soul, it's just been one nightmare after another. I've had a lot of enemies, and unfortunately, an easy to find address. It turns out that the supernatural world sucks. I don't recommend getting involved into the industries. For every wonder, there are a dozen terrifying things that go bump in the night and are very hungry. I got a laundry list of things that I wouldn't want to have knock on my front door. Vampires, ghouls, demons, you name it. None of them are welcome to wipe their feet on my doormat. But at the very top of the list is the National Revenue Service of the United States of America. Unfortunately for me, I never get what I want. I want to get I want I never get what I want, or I get to do things the easy way. So I wasn't surprised, as I should have been, when I answered a knock on my front door to find two genuine suit and tie wearing feds waiting for me on the other side. But when facing off against something that isn't human, there are things that there oh my god, there isn't human. There are tells to identify what kind of things they're squaring up with. Nephilims have more or less pointy ears, depending on how much demonic blood they have pumping through their veins. Demons have black eyes. Angels have white. Roman gods Ares are purple. For some reason. Not sure. But who handed out the color of the coordination rules when the teams were being picked? But that's how it shook out. Similarly, the feds are easy to spot for anyone who's prying attention. Paying attention. The ties are always too wide. The suits are too boxy. There are always a noticeable bulge on their hip or their shoulder, haunting at where the service pistols are holstered. Occasionally, you'll see one go rogue and wear it on the back of their belt. Those are the sneaky ones. Watch out for them. But more than anything else, it's the sunglasses are a giveaway. The feds love their advisors. I mean, who doesn't? They're an excellent fashion accessory, but when it comes to variety, it's a spice of life. Officers, I said either of them I had a chance to identify themselves. What can I do? What can I do for you? Despite my chipper mood, no, sorry, my chipper tone, a sense of dread watched over me. I studied them. My last run-in with the feds hadn't gone so well. Thanks to an overzealous FBI agent, I spent most of the 6 months hiding in an underground scientist lab because I sort of been wanted for terrorism. Now, just to be clear, I didn't commit any acts of terror. In fact, I stopped one progress by helping kill a giant dragon that was trying to burn down half of downtown Los Angeles. But the feds, like the cast of wide nets, when they don't understand something, they don't always wait to ask questions. They're also not clued in the world beyond mortal one they think they are. Agent Richer, who is in charge of the case against me, had only known to be a danger to himself and sometimes me. Mr. Carver, this is Agent Peters. The Asian woman standing in front of the steps said, nodding as her ginger partner, who was still wearing his advisors. She had at least been polite enough to remove hers. I'm Agent Wong. We would like a moment of your time. Can we come in? Can I see some ID? I asked, trying to stave off panic as I mentally process what legal items might be laying around in the house. I knew there was full automatic assault rifles and pieces on the dining room table. Alex promised me he finished cleaning it today, but that meant he hadn't to get around 11:45 p.m. The living room had at least half a dozen knives and maybe a grenade. I couldn't remember if I'd taken that up to my room or not. Possibly best if I don't let them in. Agent Wan reached for her jacket pocket and flipped it open so I could see the bright shiny badge. My fear shifted to shock as I read it. The IRS. What do you guys have to do with my mouth snapped shut as my brain frankly caught up to what the question had stuck into my mouth. Warning alarms were flashing in the control badge of my psyche. But it was far too late. I knew from first-hand experience that not everyone in the law enforcement knew about the monsters, scary things beyond mortal lives. So while Agent Richard was some sort of fop, he at least knew something about something. Many of the other departments hadn't even gone that far. We're familiar with your file, Agent Peters, responded coldly, still not taking off his glasses. This is unrelated to investigation to the downtown Inferno. Inferno? That was certainly a word for a dragonfire had done to several city blocks. I had given a tight smile, forcing myself to not watch my own reflection in glasses. It was so distracting. I'm no model, but I have been working out a little, and I couldn't help but admire the results. Mr. Carver, we're here to serve you a lean. My eyes narrowed. I tried to figure out what that meant. I have a college degree, but it's one in English and two fake. Ah, I said. I was trying to hide my ignorance. Eileen, of course, realizing that I was slouching, and forced myself to stand up straighter. Just in case, Eileen is a legal claim to your assets as a guarantee to secure your outstanding debts to the U.S. government, Agent Wand explained. To the U.S. government, Agent Wand explained. Oh, sorry, I read that twice. Agent Wand explained. Somehow, seeing through my attempt at bluffing, I didn't like her. She seemed smart. That's not how I prefer my federal agents. I owe a debt to the U.S. government? My voice went from octave or two. What kind of debt? Your taxes, Mr. Carter. Agent Peters supplied unhelpfully. I don't like him either, but that was mostly because he seemed rude, not because he was smart. Our records indicate that you are the sole owner of an LLC registered here in Los Angeles, California. This is his second year of business, but has not filled out any state or federal taxes in the prior. Wand popped out her briefcase, apparently accepting that I had no indication of inviting her partner in. She pulled out a manila folder and handed it to me, ignoring the stunned look on my face. I accepted the robotically, flipping it open to paw through the dozens of pages of government money babbled that I didn't even seem to like what it was written in English. The only thing that stood out to me was the line I read. Matthew Carver, Investment Agency, Worldwide Ethic, LLC. Well, that's certainly my name on the company, I admit. Are they allowed to do that? And who allowed to do what? Peter asked. Name the company after me. Are you saying you have no knowledge of this company named after you? That also registered in your name? Juan pulled out a pen out of her suitcase as if preparing to take some notes. I wanted to make sure I have the right. I have the right for the record. Oh no. No. I scanned the page again, looking at anything that made sense. There was an address listed, and it didn't seem so far. It seemed too far, about based on the zip code. I'm not saying that or anything. I arched my eyebrows at them to see if they triggered a reaction. The two IRS agents stared at me stone faced. So, how does this work? Am I under arrest? No, Mr. Carver. The lien is set to garnish your wages until you pay off your debts and get the taxes up to date. Juan's voice had a long, suffering quality to it. Oh, great. What's the total? Do you guys take credit cards? Last page, Peter answered, the man of few words, that ginger. Ah, I gave him a polite smile before thumping my way back to the folder. I didn't have a job per se. The last time I made any money was on my birthday, when the CFO of hell handed me $5 million in a duffel bag. I highly doubt that Zegan had reported that transaction to the IRS. Wasn't that the whole point of getting paid in cash? My train of my train of a thought abruptly derailed as I read the number. The government claimed I owned 7,400,039. No, sorry, $439,812. What now? My eyes shoot up from the page to stare at the two feds. Unbanished shock. Dollars? That number is based on reports of earnings from your company, and as well as the long-term capital gains. Juan trailed off as I held up begging her to stop. I couldn't handle hearing a single more math word. There must be a mistake, I told her, snapping the folder shut and shaking my head. There are probably two very handsome men named Matthew Carver happens all the time, but I don't know how. I don't know now, have or no have, if I ever seen, if I ever had $7 million. Your social security number is a match. Then someone has stolen my identity. I felt the flush creeping on my neck. I struggled to contain the panic building inside me. I have been hacked, defrauded of money, this time instead of my soul. This seemed lazy and repetitive. Surely someone could have invented a new distresses for me to suffer. But who could have done this? What was the last move of the dead Lazarus? Some sort of trump card? A doomsday? Plan eradicate in I'm not good at pronouncing words, so I'm sorry. Um, uh, Revenge for killing me? If you're able to audit your finances and show the number that's incorrect, the lien will be adjusted accordingly. Juan promised me, her face scolded with professionally smooth rock. I would encourage you to read through the file. It's quite thorough. What happens if I don't pay this lien? You go to jail. And I highly recommend you make your payments, Juan. Juan's face was expressionless. Classic Fed. I gotta call some people, I muttered, realizing that I should stop talking. I have learned firsthand. Law enforcement, it's not always my friend. The last thing I need to do was something stupid that would give them a leverage over me. Am I free to go? This is your house, Peters answered in disgust. So it is. I snapped, embarrassed my panic. Good day, agents. My people will be in touch, and etc. I I turned on my heel and stumped back into my house, closing the door, locking the deadbolt in their faces. What do you think he was on? I heard Peter ask Juan dimly as they started to turn away. He looked like he hasn't slept in a week. I gritted my teeth, and to keep myself from snapping, I responded and regretted retreating agents. He had no idea how right he was. Did you order something? My best friend Alex called from the living room. As I paced through the entry hall, thought I heard talking out in front. I entered the living room and to see him lounging on a giant white L-shaped couch, participating in a favorite pastime watching cartoons. He was a tall, lean man and with his blonde hair perfectly artful, mused, so that was barely to hide any round tips of his ears, making him a lesser Nephilim. That was internally revenue service. The who? You know, the IRS. I think you mean the internal revenue service. I mean the idiot revenue service. I collapsed into one of the matching plushie on the plush on the white chairs, rubbed my face on my hands. Shoot me. What did they want? Forgot to pay your taxes? Alex's mouth was full of chips as he asked what he thought was a funny question. Yeah, apparently I have a company. Did you know I have a company? You? Why would they let you have a company? Well, apparently. I'm good. I'm really good at it because I owe $7 million in taxes. My face still buried in my hands. So I was surprised at the sound of the TV abruptly turned it off. That meant Alex was taking this seriously. Watch, frankly, was a was a bad sign. I pulled my hands off my face, enough to toss my stunned friend a manila folder Juan gave me. Dark abyss. You're not kidding. Alex breathed as he flipped through it. Who named this thing? It seems melodramatic. And the I'm not gonna pronounce any words at all. Even for you. I can't even spell ET criteria. I groaned in complaint. What are you gonna do? Do you even have that much? I don't even have $7 million. There's more money. That's more money than I made last year, which doesn't even make any sense. I'm not really sure how this math was supposed to math, but I don't think the math is right. There's an address here, Alex pointed, already wearing the investigation reporter hat. I saw. Doesn't seem that far. Well, let me put on my shoes, I signed, leveraging myself out the couch. Might as well go see who's been making me all this money. That is chapter 1 of the book of Sleep Debt. Stay tuned for next time for chapter 2. Remember, please like and subscribe if you guys want to hear more, and leave a comment down below and what you guys think of the story so far. Enjoy the rest of your day.